Welcome back to the trailer project, everyone. After quite a bit of grinding, I think we are finally ready to start putting parts back on this trailer. So what I'd like to get accomplished tonight is getting the two C-channels ran back in here, along with a new coupler and the jack. That way this thing can stand on its own. Now if you look, I have it on 4 jack stands. I also took this third wheel off because that was really messing with everything sitting square. And of course, since both leaf springs are broke on that axle, it's just laying on the ground. But here's the stands at the back, and as well as getting the tongue put back on it, wouldn't mind getting this front bar put back on it. If you remember, I cut these plates off here. I made some new ones out of some material I had around. I just sheared out. They're 1/4 inch thick, 6 inches tall. They're 4 inches at the base and 2 3/4 at the top. So we got 2 of them, and those are going to be for this 2.5 by 2.5 3/16 wall square tube. Might be a little overkill, but the other one was bent, so I would rather have something beefier up there like that than like that angle iron that was in there before. So to get each of these in position, I'm just using the forklift, lifting them up from the bottom into position, and then I will clamp both front and back. That way I still have a way to move them, so I can square this down the trailer. With the forklift out of the way here, you can see we're running into an issue of these trying to overlap. When I measured these new C-channels, I just took a measurement off the bottom of the old ones before I cut them out, and that would have been to the web part of the C. So I didn't pay attention to how that was done. I think what I'm going to do is just take a cutoff wheel and cut straight between them. That way I can run just a weld just to hold those two together, top and bottom. Because this rail needs to come in just a little bit. If you look right here, we're just a little bit to the left. I need to come to the right. And we'll also throw a tape and measure from that corner up there into here. And then the same on this right side here. We want to measure from that corner in, and then we'll also measure from that corner diagonally down, and same thing this way, diagonally down to that point there, and that will ensure that this triangle is even. Okay guys, with the back 2 parts of the bars tacked into place, I'm going to grab a measurement from here to the outside of the frame and do the same on the other side just to make sure these aren't moving at all. And then I'm also going to grab my triangulated measurement to make sure that we are keeping this triangle square with the frame of the trailer. There I have 21 7/8. (21 7/8). (53) right on the nose. And 53 on the nose. So I would say we are good to throw some tacks up here, and we'll do one last measurement before we burn anything in solid. Back up at the front here, I took my measurements for a third time. I was happy with everything. So I welded those two together, ground that back down, that way when we bring in this coupler, it sits flush. So with the coupler loosely clamped in place, it'll give us a rough idea of what we need to grind out as far as metal scale goes. Also need to grind paint off of the coupler. This is a weld-on style. Now I know some people don't like this sleeve style. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's the best quality piece I could find. I don't like the cheesy flip down latches. I've had that finger that goes under the ball. I've actually had those break before. This one's rated for 7,000 pounds, which is essentially what this trailer should haul. So it's sized right. Typically around here anyway, you see this style on a lot of horse trailers, where you pull this pin and then that sleeve slides back, allowing this to open. Now, like I said, this wasn't my first choice, but unfortunately some parts are getting hard to find, so this is what I went with. It will work. Let's get it welded on. Okay, so here's how we're sitting. We're welded here, welded there. I might throw another bead over this just because it sank a little bit. Anytime you weld into a 90, it seems to pull that in. So we'll throw a little more in there. That isn't going to hurt anything. Back here, we're welded on top there. We're welded back here. Same thing on the other side. I can pull these clamps off now. So I think I'm going to stuff a jack in that hole. And then I'd like to get that stop bar across the top yet tonight. Nothing needs to be finish welded. We are running out of time here. It's already after 11. But if I can get that on there, at least get it tacked in straight. Maybe just burn a few. Call it good for now. I still got to go through the rest of this trailer. There's some other welds on here that need to be addressed, need to be cut out and re-welded. They're starting to crack. So let's get after it. Okay, looking at this jack here, from what I've always understood, they're designed to go in like this with the handle facing the front of the trailer. Now, people don't like that because they get in the way of the tailgate if you have the tailgate down. Being that you get out on the driver's side all the time, I clock this so it's still, the handle's still facing the driver's side, but it will not be in the way of the tailgate. So to install this, we need to pull this pin here, lift that out of there, slide it down in there, and then it is just some 3/8 16 hardware. You guys get the idea. Well, I will say I have never run across this before. Granted, I have never used one of these side handle jacks. They're always the top handle. But if I put that bolt in there, this hole does not line up, nor does that other one. They are clocked, so that it will only go this way. Now, I do have a fix for that, and I will fix that. But since I'm kind of on a time crunch tonight, just to get it put together so I can take it back out of the shed here, I'm just going to put these bolts in this way. And it's not going to matter because I'm going to move it with the forklift. I don't have to worry about catching a tailgate with the handle here. Well, there it is. Nothing's 100% permanent yet, but it gives you a good general idea of what we're after here. I do have one more thing to show you, and then we'll get into putting that crossbar on. And there we go. one other thing I will do, underneath the A-frame part of it right here, I will put a piece of expanded metal on the bottom side of it. That's just for extra storage, and then you just cap off the back underneath that toolbox. If you needed to throw like dirty chains or anything on there, you know, after you pick something up, you can put them there. I don't know how far I'd go letting them ride there. That's personal opinion, but it would keep stuff out of the toolbox, keep it clean, etc. You know, even wooden blocks can be stored there. Stuff like that. You see them on equipment trailers all the time, and it's an easy to add feature, so we may as well. But inside the toolbox, a couple people mentioned it in the comments, we are going to do a winch in there. I have a 9,000 pound winch pretty much ready to go for this trailer. It's actually the one that I used to pull the RD4 onto a different trailer when both tracks were stuck. So I'm really not concerned about that winch not having enough power. Anything I haul on this trailer, that 9,000 pound winch will have plenty of power to do what I need to. Another thing we're going to do is try and see if we can get a battery in there alongside the winch. I don't know if there's going to be enough room in that box. We'll kind of play that one as we go. Alright guys, here's what we ended up with. So that's the push bar there, or roll bar, whatever you want to call it. Now, I did only tack it in place. Granted, that's a heavy tack. Main reason being, I want to make sure that I can get my winch slot in between there. You gotta remember, deck boards go in this slot here. I would like for my cable to unspool there. So I don't want to weld that bar in permanently until I kind of figure out where that will unwind at or where that will unspool. I may have to possibly build something to lift that up, or possibly lift the entire box up. We can do that too. I just don't want to get in too tall. I don't mind where it's at right now, but if I need to bring that bar up, I could make new plates, maybe bring that bar up level with this. We'll see, but yeah, it's coming together. So thanks everyone for watching. All of you who are liking and subscribing to my videos. There'll be more to come on this. We just got to get everything finished up here, finish welding everything, go through, clean everything up, and then it's off the sandblast for this. Probably won't see it back for a while. The guy that does my sandblasting, he's never in a hurry, which is perfectly okay with me. So we'll probably catch you on the next one.